1909, and there's a lot of movement actually. There was barely any movement in the last season, and quite a few black arrows here.
Wardy, I need a second. All right, I need a second. Okay.
It's back. You might not be eating it, but
I'm not gonna eat it. I'm definitely not gonna eat it now. I am definitely not gonna eat it now, but I'm gonna wear it. I'm gonna wear it. I'm gonna wear it because Ed keeps making a dunce of me, baby. When we were discussing all of our options here about who was going to counter who and how, I never in a million years thought that Krill would take Munich to turn around and walk back out of it, because Ed now has Munich back and has Holland in a defensible position. Now, it's interesting. What's interesting now is he's now dependent on Matt Krill and Tyrolia to help him keep both Munich and Holland. Ed can't keep Munich and Holland without Matt's assistance from Italy. And if you look at the way that 1909 went, I don't think he's going to get that assistance from Matt Krill. This episode is not one season. It's both spring and fall and winter. 1909, 1 year, all in one show, because Christopher Ward is an important man, and he had important business in the important big city, the capital of the world, England.
Did I tell you what it was? I went down to London for?
I would bet, knowing Britons the way I do, it's probably a stag party.
No. Even more vain than that. I was having my picture taken.
They don't have agents in Liverpool, man.
Well, yeah, it was a particular photographer I wanted to go to, and I was getting some new actor headshots, so that was.
Well, you give me your publicist's name and address, brother, because I want an autographed copy. Okay?
I'll send you one just for you.
All right, brother. All right.
But yeah, so I am back. I got back just a few hours ago, and we are catching up. And I've only seen this in the last half an hour, and this is amazing. So
I did not think that Ed was going to get out of this with a diplomatic solution. And in as much as I didn't foresee a diplomatic solution, I was right that he was kind of hosed. I would guess that this particular course of action really caught Greg by surprise. I don't think Greg knew this was coming.
So the headline here is Munich walks out and Silesia walks back into Munich. So what has Ed offered Matt in order to get him to do this? I mean, we see the Ukraine support into Romania for the Union Galicia, and we see the cut of Moscow. So he's giving him Romania.
Because we're doing the whole year, we get a unique perspective here. Ed was very, very devious and tricky, and I'm not going to tip my dunce cap to him, because if I do, it'll fall off. Okay, but this is my cap, and I'm tipping it to Ed. Okay, because this was a master diplomatic stroke. Did you prepare the slide that's got spring and fall side by side? Look at what Ed did. Okay, he supported Galicia into Romania in the spring. Okay, and then in the fall, he sent Rum to Bulgaria to cut Bulgaria so that he could force Greece. Then he ordered Bud to Romania with no support. Okay, Ed was obviously supposed to support him into Romania.
I think Ukraine supports
Ukraine supported Bulgaria to Rum. Check the orders.
Right. Oh gosh, maybe I just read what I.
That dotted arrow doesn't come in on a tangent supporting Budapest or Romania. He supported Bulgaria to Rum.
Yeah, to Rum. Oh wow.
So look what Ed did. He talked himself into Galicia. He talked Matt out of Munich. Okay. He kept Holland. He got Munich back. Now he's got to build, right? So now he's dropping in Berlin. Okay. Now he doesn't need Matt to support him in Munich anymore. It was a master stroke, although he outsmarted himself. If you look at Matt's moves in the South,
which year? Which season?
Well, spring and fall.
Yeah.
In the spring, he moved up to Tuscany to make sure that Marseille didn't convoy over to Tuscany.
Yeah.
All right. And then in the fall, he used Ian to guarantee that he took Greece. He said, I'm not going to bounce Tunis. I could bounce Tunis. I'm not going to bounce Tunis. My plan is to gain Romania, gain Greece, lose Tunis, build one. Well, I guess he wouldn't be building one because he's losing Munich. But his plan was to come back and take Tunis at a later time. Okay. However, now he's minus Munich, minus Tunis, plus Greece, not plus Rum. He's got to pull another unit. And he's pretty much guaranteed that he's going to struggle to ever get Tunis back. Okay. And we got 1 year left in the game. The only choice Matt Krill has left is who he wants to help win the game.
Because I think he's got 8 units. I don't think he has.
Romania is popped.
Yeah, so Romania's popped. Yeah.
So he's minus Tunis, minus Munich, plus Greece, minus one pop. So he's even.
Yeah.
He's even. Okay. So.
Yeah. So that's
all he has. All he has against Greg at this point is a guessing game.
If you're Matt here, who are you mad at? Because you're not going to be. You're not happy at Greg for the moving the fleets towards you and nabbing Tunis. You're not happy with John because you've not been happy with John for quite a while, although he did stab him first.
Well,
and now you're not happy with Ed because he's just screwed you over.
Matt, well, but France just screwed him over too.
Yeah.
It's very interesting because last year Matt supported Tunis instead of taking a shot at Greece. This year he gave up Tunis so that he could take Greece. So it's very hard to get a read on him. But I think Ed just did him very, very extremely dirty. Dirty in a way that, hey, I have a lot of respect for Ed Sullivan. Lots of respect. Okay. But I don't think that Matt Krill is going to be happy with you about it.
Well, Ed doesn't want a situation where Matt can't turf Greg out of Tunis. And had Matt have picked up Romania there, he'd be putting down a fleet to go and get it back. So maybe Ed didn't realize what these movements were going to be with the French and Italian fleets down in the south.
Ed's just trying to play out the clock. Ed is just trying to play out the clock. He's not going to lose Holland next year. He's not going to lose North Sea next year. He's not going to lose Munich next year. Unless Matt Krill decides to assist against Ed in Munich and not worry about the continuing attack against him in the south. And I'm going to say I find that unlikely, but this game has proven when I say those things, I'm always wrong. Oh no, Ed was a master stroke here, but I think he's going to pay a price for it in the last year of the game.
I'm dying to know how Ed convinced Matt to walk out of Munich. Clearly, Matt was worried about the French advance.
He wasn't too worried about it. He wasn't too worried about it. Well,
it was enough to leave Tyrrhenian Sea
in the spring. He made sure he didn't get convoyed on, and that's not a mistake. Because if he'd gotten convoyed on, his game would be in a hurt box.
Yeah.
Okay. So he did. He that is a defensive move to Tuscany, but it certainly didn't do anything to protect Tunis. And what we see over the course of these 2 seasons is we see what I predicted would happen 2-3 seasons ago, which is Matt is going to prioritize retaking his lost ground back from Turkey over defending himself from France. And I'm sure that the sweet, sweet words and promises that Greg are whispering in his ear drove that decision-making process. So
I've heard it said numerous times now that to win a game of diplomacy, oftentimes you've just got to be the least disliked on the board, and maybe this is Greg's forte.
Maybe. I don't know if that saying is true, because I am almost always the most disliked player on every board I ever sit at, and I've won countless number of games. So that may work for Greg.
But like, yeah, oh God, how the hell do you do it, Gregory? Gregson? Greg?
Well, you're lauding Greg. Let's count dots. 3, 6, 9, 10. Let's count Germany's. 3, 6, 7, 10.
Yeah. Greg still needs one more.
Greg still needs one more, and I dare say that Ed has more dots laying at his feet Greg does, because he's once again playing east and south of the stalemate line in Russia.
But if can't see Matt helping him now, and I don't know if
Matt may not be his helper. Matt may be his lunch. John may be his helper.
John might give victory to Ed.
Well,
that might be, but then where does Matt pull if he's
John
losing
will throw
dots?
the game to Ed if it gets him one more Italian dot by the end of the game.
It's the last year, isn't it? He won't pull. I mean, he could just decide to throw the boot to Greg, but how many units he got down there? Can he take anything?
They would have to coordinate. They would have to coordinate and plan it very carefully. But Matt can give Venice, Rome, and Naples to Greg.
So let's roll it back a touch and just have a look at some of the decisions separately. So I'm going the wrong way. Ed here covers Holland and loses Ruhr. I suppose he was going to lose Ruhr anyway, so he might as well cover Holland. But is this just sensible play by each of them? Greg just making sure he gets into Ruhr, and
Ed was playing a year-long game. He knew he was going to get Munich back. He wasn't going to lose Holland. He was going to get a build, and that build would be an army in Berlin. He knew it. Wow, Turkey got popped in Rome.
Yeah, so he's got a bit. I was just looking at the exact same thing actually. So he gets to build.
Probably be another army, because armies can grab dots, fleets can't. I expected a fleet last turn, and he built an army instead. So
yeah,
he's got his eye on the prize, and that prize is Italian dots.
And then Armenia goes to Bulgaria, right? Okay, so now So now he's got two armies, hasn't he, against the Italian Austrian dots, if you like. Oh, but then, oh yeah, Greece is popped, but that's a lost center anyway.
The vulnerable dot is going to be Budapest, because you're in Galicia, you're in Rum. Bull can cut Serbia. Black and Aegean can cover Bull. So Bull's going to cut Serbia. Black and Aegean are going to cover Bull. And Galicia is going to support Rum to Budapest in return for some other favor later.
We want to have a look at winter.
Hold on, let's look out what else happened. Nothing else here happened. Nothing else happened.
What do we expect?
Greg has a build coming. It'll be very interesting to see if he builds Army Marseille or Fleet Brest. You want to make a prediction? I predict Army Marseille.
I've seen it.
Oh,
so I won't say, but yeah, but Germany, France, and Turkey each have a build.
Turkey should build Fleet Smyrna, but he's going to build Army Khan. Ed's going to build Army Berlin. A fleet won't matter before the game ends. And I'm very curious to see if France builds Fleet Brest or Army Marseille. I'm going to say Army Marseille because of the time limits of the game. The Fleet in Brest has more use in a natural game, but we're not playing a natural game.
Army Berlin, Army Marseille, Fleet Constantinople. So what's the Fleet Con? Not Fleet Smyrna, not Army Con. Fleet Con.
I don't have any words.
What does that tell you?
I can't say what it'll tell me, because if I say what it tells me, I'll never be asked to do another show.
Okay. You guessed right in Marseille, Army Marseille for Greg. So that throw that we mooted could work. Assuming that's not happening, there's, yeah, as you say, there's a guess over Tunis here, whether to tap it or support it up, right? What are you thinking?
I think he should do Lyon supports Tunis to Turanian, English Channel. This game ends at the end of 1910, no matter what, correct? Yeah, he should do Lyon supports Tunis to Turanian, and English to Mayo to cover Spain. He should also do Marseille to Tuscany, and Burgundy and Belgium should support Ruhr.
Well, Marseille to Tusk, isn't Leon's doing the support, isn't he?
Oh yeah, so he'd have to go to Piedmont. Yeah, okay.
So
I'm just bemoaning the missed opportunity. But it wasn't a missed opportunity because Matt Krill covered it before. So there you go.
Germany
I think I suggested it like 3 years ago, though.
Germany have a guess here, or well, Kiel can support Holland while Berlin supports Munich. Is that?
Yes. So that's the very interesting thing to see here is, yeah, Ed's got a guessing game.
He's got an angry Matt Krill now, so
Ed's got a guessing game. He can either support Holland or he can put 2 supports on Munich. He can't do both. Yeah. He's got to flip some coins here. He's got to flip some coins, and the diplomacy is going to affect which calls he makes for those coin flips. So
I won't be banking on any favors from Krill.
We don't know what went on behind the scenes. Maybe Greg wasn't supposed to take Tunis, and Ed knew that he was going to take Tunis. So he's going to bet that Matt Krill is going to be more mad at Greg than he is at him. We don't know the answer to that question. This board can't answer those questions. I'd like to do a game sometime where, as commentator, I talk to every player between every season, and we don't do the broadcast until the game is over. Because we can't tell how this is going to go, because as you know, one of our very early episodes, Superstition, jumped in with us, and Keith said that this was going to be a very transactional game, and that's the smartest piece of commentary this entire game has ever had. So
I mean, it's certainly accurate, isn't it? It's come to be.
So,
Um,
and transactional work is an attorney's bread and butter. It's no surprise that Ed is very good at it.
Are we happy to say that Turkey's chances are now 0? Is the hat making a comment? Okay.
0.
Yeah.
0.
0. The hat is
0.
dead. No soy sauce required.
No,
okay.
No curry, no soy.
What is Krill's chances? Is there a way he can still do this?
No.
Okay.
No. John would have to willingly give him dots.
So it's between Germany and France.
Yes.
Are we 50-50? Close to that?
55-45 in favor of Ed.
Okay.
55-45. Greg has no dots in front of him. None. So he has to take a dot from Ed and make sure that Ed doesn't somehow steal another dot in the East. So this is advantage Ed. So Ed gets an A-. Greg gets a B. Krill gets a C-. John's got the D.
So if you are John, who do you favor winning if you yourself cannot?
Are you asking me to put myself in John's shoes and think like John and what decision I make?
Who has wronged him? Because France hasn't really wronged him in any way.
You're asking the wrong question. I don't think John cares. John's going to continue to try and get dots.
Okay. Well, then he's after the same dots as Ed is going to be after.
Well, like I said, they can make a deal with each other. And keep in mind, the supply center count is 8-6. If Turkey can get one Italian dot, he will have moved up from 4th place to 3rd place. Yeah. And I think that's what John's going to play for.
3rd place.
I think that's his optimal outcome on this board, and I don't think that anyone should fault him for trying to do that. And let's be clear, that they can guarantee. That explains why he built in Khan, not Smyrna, but it doesn't explain why it's a fleet, not an army. But
what have you seen?
Bulgaria is going to cut Serbia, so Galicia could support Ramdabad, and Aegean and Khan and Black are going to make sure that he keeps Bulgaria. And Ed's going to find a way while he's doing this he's probably going to try and steal Sev while he's helping him into Bud. That would be my guess.
That'd be
this won't air until after spring, right?
Pardon?
This won't air until after spring 10, right?
Sure.
Yeah. That is what I think is going to happen here. I think that Ed is going to help Turkey take Rum. And while he's helping him take Rum, he's going to help himself to Sev. Then if he loses Munich to a joint attack from Italy and France, Greg and Kirill will take Munich, but they will not be successful in taking the win away from Ed. That's how 1910 is going to go down. My prediction. And John's going to fall for it, hook, line, and sinker. And we're going to have a Germany that gets all the way to freaking Sev in a 10-year game, which, Ed, it's respectable, sir. That's how it's going to go down.
It's amazing to see it so tight. I just wonder if there was a spanner to be thrown in the in the works here by Krill punishing Ed for something. Because he seemed not overly concerned about Tunis, and I think that's that move from Ed this year. This doing one way and then the other might be enough for Krill to go, no, I'm gonna let France walk into my dots. I don't know, but that's the one play he's got left.
If you go back to winter moves, go back. Builds. Marseille to Piedmont to Venice, Venice to Apulia to hold, Lyon to Tuscany, Tuscany to West, Tunis to Tyrrhenian, followed by Piedmont to Venice, Apulia holds, Tuscany to Rome, Tyrrhenian to Naples, West to Mayo to be a smart aleck. Matt could give all three of those dots up to Greg
if he chooses to.
The other thing that Matt can do is Matt can give Greg enough dots to create a tie without letting himself fall lower than John, which is another possible outcome. But I don't know.
Greg needs to beat Ed
properly. What?
Greg needs to. A tie is not enough for Greg.
Yeah, but Matt might not care.
Yeah, sure. Let's have a look at a few comments, shall we? Kudasov, tournament director, points out it's the final rush time. Everyone's sort of grabbing what they can because it's now or never, right? Not sure it's a scientific poll, this, but who's going to win the season 7 finals? There's a couple of joke entries there for 7 for Austria and 3 for Russia and 8 for England. But
which is very funny because this is Philadelphia, Atlanta 2020 voting, because I don't think there's 46 people engaged in this conversation, but we got 46 votes. So lots of absentee ballots got put in the drop box on this one. Okay.
Oh, come on. Okay. Well, I'm not going there. Wow, there was a flashing sign now. Don't come this way.
It's simple math, it's simple math, Wardy, which is why a liberal like you doesn't like it.
Anyway, we've got Germany at 10, just edging out France there at 8, which seems a fair reflection based on what you were just saying the chances were. Right, Germany just.
I disagree with Mind Dodge. Mind Dodge is who is Mind Dodge?
I only know Mind Dodge as Mind Dodge, but yeah, assuming no game throws, I don't see how anyone
is incorrect. Germany can lose a center. He has a guessing game in Holland and in Munich. He has a guessing game. And that guessing game is why he's going to throw John under the bus and steal Sev. He may steal Sev and Rum.
Mind Dodge did say assuming no game throws, but then Karthik retorts that well, this is unequivocal. That seems like a terrible assumption to make. Yeah, well, I don't think he's making that assumption necessarily, but because he did air the possibility. If Germany builds Army Berlin, which they did, they can give uncuttable support and hold their whole line. Well, it's, as you point out, it's a guess, isn't it? It's which one
coin
it does.
Flip. 50-50 coin flip.
Eber, yes, still a guess around Munich and Holland, assuming F and I are cooperating. It will fall.
Eber is an excellent tactical player. He said the exact same thing we just said. So, Eber, you're entirely correct, sir.
Riaz is asking, can Greg hold Tunis? I wonder if that was agreed to by Krill. I'm guessing no.
It's another guessing game. For another decade.
Yeah, I should say there were. I think Sabi had said something similar regarding Munich and Holland, and was Sabi also?
Well, that figures. I've been agreeing with Sabi all game.
Okay. Sabi seemed to suggest that, although I've not got the quote here, that maybe Tunis was a gift by Matt. Was Riaz is doubtful, but I think you covered that in what you were saying earlier. He thought, I can go and get it back with the build I'm getting from Romania, which obviously didn't happen because
if Krill was giving Ed gifts, he wouldn't have bothered covering Tuscany. He'd have rolled those fleets down into East Med and Ionian Sea. So no, that was not a gift. That was theft, is my read.
John Anderson with his turkey carcass. Sorry for all the turkey fans out there that wanted to see Eric eat his dunce cap. Sorry to bring shame to you, your cat, your family. Yeah, you pointed out here, and I think you touched on it last episode. That you were saying, although I didn't know you were willing to bet your coat on this, but pointing out that it was the board state rather than John, who is a great player, it has to be said. But yeah, the dunce cap is no more. It's a paper ball now. Say
goodbye, John. Say goodbye.
Sorry, John. But third place could still be a thing if that is your motivation. Is that all I have? Yes, it is. So any final thoughts then, Eric, on 1909, the penultimate year of the game?
My last comment from Discord, which you put on the slide, touches on it, but I want to make sure I'm clear. I've taken lots of digs at John throughout the game. Okay. Turkey is very much disadvantaged in a time-limited game like this. My criticism of Turkey has not been his overall gameplay. It has been his position and his ability to win from that position and his decision-making within the context of a time-limited game. He spent too much time making no progress in the first 3 game years. If he had gone into the late mid-game with 1 or 2 more dots than he had, then he would be the one in Matt Krill's position, still with an outside chance at topping this board. And the reason that John never had that chance was because of the back and forth ping pong game and all those completely impossible to succeed attacks on Sev that John did early in the game. John, you're an excellent player, and none of my commentary has meant to be critical of your play at all. I've only been critical of your position, because your position in this board on this game against these players has always been a step behind France and Germany. Actually, you've been 2 steps behind France and Germany and 1 step behind Italy. So that's not personal criticism. It's criticism of this map.
And I suppose in what has been a meta for much of the past 18 months, where Turkey has been, ganged up on early doors, to survive this long with a shout, where 3 other nations have been eliminated, is no mean feat in itself.
Turkey is uniquely challenged in this meta, okay? And Turkey doing as well as he did in this game owes a big part of it to the fact that meta was not followed. This was not an EG versus AI meta. There was no EG and there was no AI. Those 2 things together have a big part to do with why John has done so well. The other part is John played a very, very good, unpredictable, inscrutable Turkey. He did very well trying to punch his way up out of the corner.
It's been interesting to watch. Right, that's 1909. We have one final year to see who will reign supreme. I'm looking forward to it. Super. Thank you very much, Eric.
Cheers.
And thank you all for watching.